Good evening, Speed Gaming, and welcome to this semifinal matchup, Game 3 between Tornel357 and TheAxeMan301. Tonight, I am Matrick on commentary with my partner Gozengata, who has yet to jump into the booth, but he'll be here shortly. And considering that this is Game 3 of this matchup, the winner of this matchup is going to be going on to face off with me, and the loser goes on to face off with Dragon Dark. So these guys here have already commented that they're not particularly happy with whom they have to face next because they got a tough road ahead of them regardless of which one they have to go through. So we're hoping to see a really close race like the last where it comes down to, 5 seconds or less. And if it does, you guys are in for a ride because these two here can put on a real show. So we'll see how this goes. Looks like we're dropping the gate here. They should be getting going here in about 10 or 12 seconds, depending on how long it takes to get it caught up. Gozen, anything you'd like to add now that you've jumped into the booth?
I would like to point out that we had a phenomenal race between these guys the last time, and I really hope we have another phenomenal one coming in tonight. I don't know about you guys. I want to see lots of mimics. I want to see no swords. I want to see flight buried in the deepest, trolliest part of the seed possible. And I want you to call out where the fruit of lime is going to be.
It's going to be on the apprentice at the beginning of the race, right off the bat. First item.
If
fruit
it
of
actually
lime,
is,
and the second item is going to be change.
yo, if it is, I will sub to your channel.
Tier 3?
Tier 3 sub, yes, sir.
All right. Get ready.
All right, here we go. Oh, it's magic ring.
If it would have actually been, I might have actually probably walked out of the booth.
Oh, it's an antidote.
An antidote. Oh, man. The double consumable right off the bat. That means there's a very, very high likelihood here that we're going to see either flight or a windmill key, because those are basically the only things that are going to provide them with more than one check. I mean, granted, it could be a Sword of Thunder that takes him to the other side, and then Zebu hooks him up with something like the windmill key. But yeah, there's a high likelihood we're going to see a windmill key here real quick.
For sure. And it is good to note here, both of our runners did check out the shop. I believe those warp boots were 56 apiece. It looked like Tornel definitely picked those up. I don't think Axe did.
It doesn't look like it based on his actual gold spec. Looks like he probably picked up a couple of medical herbs.
Yeah, so we've already got divergence in that. Checking the shop here, I did see warp boots. We did not see a cost check, and it looked like 2 herbs, I believe. It was at least 1 herb there.
Yeah, more than likely that was a medical herb and a antidote or lysis plant. Then again, I've seen it before where there just is no medical herb. Alarm flute, okay. So that's going to get us 1 more check. The apprentice, we're going to have to go over and talk to Zebu in his cave over on the side, which is going to spawn the apprentice. And then we're going to go and wake him up with the megaphone in his ear. Hey, you guys! And then we're going to find out what he's got for us.
Oh, here, take this windmill key. I don't need it.
Fred. That will be what I say if that's the thing. Just getting you guys prepared for it. Just warming up my voice. Ooh, here's an interesting option. We're going to get to see which route is faster here. I think I've done this myself once or twice, but I've never actually timed it out to figure out which one's faster. This is interesting. It looks like... I mean, they didn't get there at the exact same time. I think Axe had a slight head start, which means that's probably still a slightly faster option, but not bad. And there's the windmill key.
Hey, Magic, how's that sound again?
Fred!
Ah, that's right. Perfect.
Quick throwing the key into the slot, and then a wild warp after starting to let the cave explode, which is completely unnecessary. Axe draining away a second there. Unnecessary to do that. The cave will explode regardless of whether or not you start seeing the explosion when you get over there. And you can actually walk up and get the item while the cave is exploding. It doesn't cost you any time, so it doesn't actually matter when you let that go. And a Sword of Wind, we have a Sword of Wind. On this flag set, since the RO flag is on, this means that they do not need balls or bracelets to blow open walls. And at this point, they're going to be able to full clear this and go all the way to Cornell Plains.
That is absolutely correct. And Axeman, I actually asked him about this before, and I think the reason he does it is from a loading standpoint, it doesn't have the animation lag there, so it actually doesn't have to wait for the loading zone to go into the cave to load. So I think he actually does it to save that there. But that being said, Axe did just pick up an ivory statue, one of our turn-ins that could be used for later. And speaking of that,
yeah, that needs to be
spell, Rokahana.
We need to time that out and find out. Robots! Ed 209 guarding the teleport spell.
That's so good.
I mean, finding teleport early is awesome. That means warp boots and money are kind of irrelevant at this point. And they're going to be all over the map. Which
Telepathy
means,
and a kid of Stixie. Oh, man. You wanted an open game? We're going to give you all the options, but we're going to control your access to get there. I want to see Sword of Chunker, and let's see a Sword of Water.
Well, Mount Saber North Axis right off the bat. I actually wouldn't be entirely surprised to see somebody just go and quickly trigger that once they head over to Mount Saber South. All they have to do is walk around the backside and trigger the trigger there, and then they can warp back to Leaf and get the rabbit so that they can head up once they find that Sword of Fire. And oh man, that's rough. Press F for Axe in chat, taking a death to the spiders, and that's a rough. Actually, you know what? Now that K-Fowl mentions that, he's right. There is no rabbit necessary, so whoop! Throw that out the window. Don't need that. You'll skip right past that. You know what it is? That glitch has been off for so long. And a hazmat suit? What is this?
Okay, so now they've got ground protection until they find something. They've got open access now to Oak for, what, 3 checks? Because it's also going to open up the Stom.
So they're going to get... Oh man, Axe getting bodied by the spider again. He better be careful. He did buy 2 medical herbs.
Yeah, I think it's just the nerves right now from that death. He's got to shake it off. And Tornel taking a death on Vampire. It's even deeper in. That's got to hurt even more.
Well, Axe's death is not looking too bad now because he's actually still in the lead.
Yep, it's very true. And Tornel, earlier even, you could tell the nerves were playing in when he saw these robots. He actually got hit by the range blast there. Took him to 1 health. And he had to chomp on an herb there. So both of these runners, you can tell, they want this bad.
I mean, at this point, you know, you're going on to essentially what is the, you know, second to last match of the winner's bracket. And, yeah, that's a no joke deal. You know, at this point, you've gotten this far. Your next match is going to be the final match before you find out, you know, whether you're either heading into the grand finals or you're heading into the loser's bracket to have to play your way back to the grand finals. So it is definitely incentivized to win this one big because there's a lot of really strong players still in this. And the more matches you have to go through, the higher chance that, you know, Rando can be Rando and you're going to end up on the losing end of a match, you know, and bounced out of the tournament.
That is absolutely true. So both of our runners here just about catching up to the vampire fight here. Axe is going to be the first one in here due to having the earlier death. He's going to start that fight here. Hopefully we'll see a pretty clean one. It's about half health right now. Oh, and he takes a hit from the bat. He's not taking any chances. He's going to chug that herb right away. Did get both of the bats, though, killed, so that's good. He should be able to get the... Ooh.
Tornel with an extra death here, putting him considerably behind at this point because now he has to full clear the cave a 3rd time. That's rough.
Indeed, but what did we get here?
Shell flute, and the spiders are putting in serious work today. They move randomly. Whenever the RNG calls for them to move, it also just calls a random direction. It's not influenced by your position or anything that you're doing. It's actually a completely random direction. So if you're not used to dealing with them and how to get around them and where their actual hitboxes are, they can just get in the way. And these spiders, they're on point today. I missed what the item that Akahana was. I was watching Tornel there. Did you catch it?
He wants a fragrant plant.
That would be the Carissa plant. Normally required to get the Bow of Moon from Arillis and Amazonas, but today... Nope, never mind, bye! Today, Akahana wants that. So a quick Sword of Thunder here. He's going to head back to Bryn Mawr now. That's going to give them access to the other side of the world as soon as they get either Flight or the Sword of Water. And in the meantime, it also gives them an additional weapon type to deal damage to monsters and a nice spread shot, which is really good for, dealing with enemies. Sword of Thunder is always a good thing to find. I noticed Axe does forget to put on his hazmat suit there. Took a couple little ticks there in the poison. And the bomber bird with the snipe. You could barely see that projectile.
What projectile?
Yeah. Well, it was green because he had the Sword of Wind on. Projectiles from monsters actually use the same palette as the sword that you have equipped. So that will totally change, and with that green background, that tiny green bullet was almost impossible. Tornel going into the vampire here with a much, much better setup this time. He's got full health. I believe he still has his medical herb. So he should have no trouble here taking this. Axe, meanwhile, has plenty of mana to be able to grab this child and warp right on back to Oak. And we're going to get to find out what those two items are.
I love that you guys reset.
Yeah, taking a page out of the Dragon Dark book there. That's where I stole that strat from. Reset on the child so you don't have to watch the full cutscene. No, Tornel, what happened?
He got sniped by the bat rotating off the screen and back in. That is rough. And a lysis plant from the second dwarf there.
Wow, that was a bust.
It may be a bust, but you know where we're going?
Well, at this point, the only place they can go is Portoa, and with that shell flute and maybe the ivory statue, they might be going to the ocean.
You are absolutely correct. And they may be able to pick up an extra item on the way.
Yeah, depends on if Rage wants one of the two swords that they have. That is a 50% chance at this point.
Nope. It is also worth noting that Axe did not go back to check what Stom had from the training, so that's also something that could come up.
I don't blame him. He does not have a pair of warp boots at this point and probably barely had enough money before he grinded the experience there. Not worth going 4 times on it for one check at this point. And that's a big nope.
Is he?
Oh, he was trying to wild warp. That's what he was trying to do.
Oh, okay.
Looks like he's going to buy a pair of warp boots here. He's probably going to go back to Bryn Mawr before he heads off to Portoa, but he did want to check that.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that. Exactly like you said, having the warp boots there to make things easier, just to get out of that a little bit faster. And I completely agree with that, especially knowing now that that he doesn't have either Rage's swords. He knows that this has to be the play, or heading out to the item in the canal. In the cave there, that's the play. One of those two has to be what your next step is.
So Tornel has got to be feeling really bad at this point. He had to bone out of the cave there again.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, he's I think he got bodied a little bit. Now he's went off. He bought a medical herb. Ooh, that's a reset. As I mentioned before, those spiders are just on point today.
Yeah, that's Flight. That's Flight. Also worth noting, he did tell us the Blizzard bracelet is what he's looking for.
Yep, definitely did.
100% the play right there. Now we've got full access to, let's see here, Stixie, which we do have a key for. All of Mount Hydra, we've got that opened up, including, let's see here, the Oasis Cave. We got the Sword of Thunder, so we can full clear that. We can do the backside of Goa Fortress. If we wanted to, we could even enter the front of Goa Fortress. Don't know why we'd want that yet, but it's an option.
Ooh, this bat is not cooperating.
Oh.
He's hoping that this bat will bop him into, nope, he's not going to wait for it. Just going to opt to say, forget it for now, and he's going to head off to Portoa. He's going to sell something here. Magic ring, maybe?
That lysis plant. I guess a ring, okay.
Oh, man, only 200?
That's an interesting strategy. For them being that low, I would not have sold them. Especially since we've got a lot of teleport usage right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that choice myself. The magic rings are worth far more than 200 gold. It would have taken him less time to go out into the woods and just stab a couple of mushrooms than it would have been to get the... Because essentially what he's looking for here is just enough MP that he can check a couple of spots. He's going to hit the warp point at Joel, and then he's going to warp right back over to Shiren. He wanted to be able to stay at the end.
Tornel just got his Sword of Thunder because he made it through the vampire fight. Now he's out in Chiron. He's going to warp back here. Unfortunately, it looks like he did not get the...
Oh, look at this. He runs back. He saved the game before he did that, which is rare to see somebody save coming out of the cave there. And now he reloaded. This way he can go get that... he can go grab that Sword of Thunder and have the warp point for Bryn Mawr. So that was an interesting decision.
Really smart of him. Props to Tornel for doing that.
I mean,
and Axe is making the play.
It's such a rare occurrence in that particular location. Yeah, ESI, this is a good play. There's a ton of items here. You do have early access to it. Personally, I would have gone straight for, Stixie at this point, because that's a full clear 6 checks. And when the game gives you the Stixie key and flight early, it's telling you something.
Oh yeah, I completely agree, but I'm not dissuaded by this play either. I think this is a solid play, especially since you're going to get all the checks in here. There is the warp point to zombie. We already have teleport. So even if you have to bail out, you can still clear everything up there. So I do like this. This is still a moderate amount of checks, and he did find our first mimic. So obviously this was the correct play.
Gauging the value of a play based on the number of mimics found. I think that's counterintuitive, but we'll go.
I don't know. He found an opal and a second mimic, which, by the way, are vulnerable to wind. It did get him a level, and it did just get him over 300 bucks. So, just saying, it's pretty good.
Tornel, meanwhile, opting to grind on some of these Medusas here. Not great, but with the low scaling. But if you're going to grind on something, that's the monster to do it on. Bomberbird here saying, nope, I'm not getting one-shotted today. And we'll see how long it takes Tornel to come up with his flight spell here. He did, I think he saved the warp boots that he had earlier. He didn't burn them because he didn't have the Bryn Mawr warp point. He was getting ready to do it, and I didn't see him use them, so he may actually already have that pair of warp boots he needs for that.
Yep, he should be good on the warp boot front because he did buy that earlier where Axe did not. That was the big difference. Axe checked in Bryn Mawr, they were 137, and he had, I believe it was 102 at the time, or 110. Didn't have enough to buy them. Didn't want to go outside and grind up, so he just went.
So far, Evil Spirit Island, not great items. Really not impressive at this point. We'll have to see if something comes up here from the last couple of checks and whether or not Sabera is vulnerable to one of the 2 swords that they have. But so far, ESI, well, that's 3 mimics. That's 3 mimics out of a total of 9 checks. That's not great.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is color me not impressed. I'll give it Michaela Maroney on that one. Not impressed.
I'm just gonna put this out here right now. That's a lot of money he just went from not having to having. So, I mean, per mimic he got roughly 300. So it was a little less than 3, but
right. That's about the only thing that was nice about it. Well, he said on using ins. Well, a change spell. Okay. Now that makes it worthwhile.
That makes it super worthwhile because we got the ivory statue. That means we can check Brokahana.
That's the one thing at the moment. And also they could go and check Dio. Ball Thunder, okay. Not bad.
Yeah,
they also have the
Dio
check as well, because they have telepathy, so Dio is available at this point.
That is absolutely.
There are 2 checks from change right off the bat. And they get to find out, if they decide to, well, what's going on in Amazonas.
Absolutely. So, yeah, actually, the change is kind of big. It's going to give them a good chunk of information. So, Patrick, I'm going to ask you, because you're the resident expert here. Level 4, 13 scaling. You going to tank this?
No. Well, okay, here's the thing. You have a level 2 Thunder Sword, so if you can get in close, you can get 5 or 6 hits per per charge. She probably has 150 health. It's not a great option. I'll be honest, it's not. If you had a warrior ring, yes. Without it, D- play in my opinion. It's just because you can get back there so quick with Zombie Town, it devalues that particular thing. Ooh, there was a flyer.
Oh, Tornel.
Look at that.
Oh, Tornel. Okay, let's see if his sequence break pays out. Axe bought the cheap armor again. He bought the leather armor, so he's got that again. And that did pay off for him a little bit. Now, let's see.
Bronze armor is 6 defense. Not bad. It's nice and cheap. I don't fault him for it. I've noticed he's done that a fair number of times. Armor comes down to just how confident you are with dealing with enemies. And if you're... Oh, he did buy leather. I thought he bought bronze.
Yep.
Leather
No,
armor is only 3 defense. Not great. If it were bronze armor, I would say it's more worth it. But the thing about it is the armor comes down to how confident you are. And that's a ball of fire. I didn't see what the hit was.
We also got told recover was on the sea. So recover's not a big deal. Getting the ball is nice. And he just got the flame bracelet. Okay, so that is actually pretty big. That is actually pretty big.
It would be if they knew where the Sword of Fire was.
This is absolutely true. But this also means that when Tornel does get the sword, he's going to be the first one to have a fully powered sword. So that's going to pay off for him in a bit. We just need to see where that sword is. And meanwhile, Axe is getting things prepped up here. Looks like he's...
Spoiler alert, it's in Mado 2's area.
Oh, no! I kind of hope so, actually. That'd be pretty... So he's doing the big old matric play here. You've got flight and access. Go to pyramid. Can't blame him at all. He's also going to be able to check Dio. So he's going to get the Dio check plus
4 checks.
What, 3? Yeah,
4 checks.
3 out of the pyramid, so 4 total. Now let's see, does he... He's not making a checkpoint, so if it's bad...
Well, what does it matter? It's not like it could be Thunder at this point, so who cares? That's really the only reason why people do that. Okay, it's 1 scaling. I don't buy into that, oh, let me reset out of a shield ring. I don't. It's not worth it. Just take it and go. It actually costs you more time to ditch the thing than if you would have just kept going. But that's a flail guy!
That's a great sound. Unfortunately, weak to Thunder. I mean, great that he's weak to Thunder, so Axeman's going to be able to get a kill on him. They do give decent experience, so not the worst thing to have to kill. This scaling looks like he got a little less than 60 off those guys, so really good. Looks like 54 total.
Yeah, at level 5, if you don't have a warrior ring, it's not really worth grinding at this scaling. Wait till you get to about 25, and the things are giving you 200 to 300 experience a hit. Then you go for it. Look at the shadows and the flail guys.
Look at that hallway.
Oh, that's a winner there.
That is a beautiful hallway. And did you know Tornel likes mimics? He likes him so much he gave him a hug. Got poisoned for it. Feels good.
Well, that's
barrier.
So far, the pyramid has been a good choice, except for these robots are going to work. That's a helicopter, too.
Oh, man. This is the best.
Pyramid's excellent. I give it a 12 out of 10. Would watch again. And in fact, we get to see it again when Tornel goes into there.
This is going to be great. I hope you don't blink.
No, the scaling's high enough. He's going to have 255 health still.
There it is.
Yeah, don't expect anything special out of him. It'll take a few hits.
Sacred Shield, good pickup.
Yep, that's defense. Nah, whap, whap.
You gonna throw it on the ground?
No, you wouldn't throw it on the ground. In fact, if anything, you sell it.
That's true. Those do actually have like a fair sell value, don't they?
I mean, early enough in the game, it's probably worth 150 to 200. It's a couple of instays, and you have a Sacred Shield, so it's a completely worthless item. I don't throw it on the ground. It's no Fruit of Lime, but yeah, not a good find after finding a Sacred Shield. Okay. Now, if you found the Fruit of Reppin first and went, cool, at least I know if I get slimed, I'm good, and then find it, then you're extra salty. So if I'm Axe at this point, you make the Stixie play, you have barriers, so you can actually walk back out and go right over to Hydra. This is a full clear Hydra that we're looking at here. It's not going to take much time. In fact, it actually takes more time to walk up the mountain than it does to jump down and walk out. So you're better off, you know, routing it in such a way so that you come back down and you just, on your way out, just grab it and go.
Yep. And he's doing just that. He put on the barrier. He's going to go up just the same. Hopefully he will come out. We've seen Axe a couple times here get something nice and then kind of just dip out of here, but I'm glad to see he is doing the right side first. Hey, Bert!
It's a vanilla
just
Bert.
a Bert.
That's Bert with an E, by the way, because Bert with a U is on the left, and he's going to be there.
All right, so
That's
we got
a
a consumable here. Medical herb. Okay, good find. Topped himself up. While that's happening, Tornel did get his change from the vampire there. Work boots and the Crystalis plant. Okay.
Well, the nice thing about that is that's a quick, about 5-second check, so, you know, you can warp over to get that at literally any time.
That's a good feeling.
In fact, if it's me, I route that in with going to check Amazonas. Hi, Bert!
I completely agree. Hey, Bert! Love that guy.
And the axe chest is a mimic!
That's our fourth. Feels good.
Now, let's go see. Oh, we got butterflies!
This is so good.
This is a vanilla hallway, Fred!
Magic ring.
Ooh, look
Tornel
at this.
is...
He thought about it. He thought about it.
He was
changed
in
his
that
mind.
fight for a hot minute.
Another
All right.
consumable.
Not bad. We've got one opal so far. It's an antidote. Not what you want to see, but it's fine.
Up, and he's going to make the Akahana check, and I won't be surprised to see him run right over to Amazonas as well.
Yep. And he gets a fruit of power for his trouble. Not terrible. He's went from having, you know, no MP items because he sold them to a full inventory of MP items and an opal. So that's a good feel. Speaking of checks here, Tornel's actually making the Amazon's check here first.
So, Axeman checked to see if that ivory statue was the Crystalis plant. It is not. So we know for certain, and we just got the hint, it is the love pendant that she is looking for.
Hello,
and the
water.
Sword of Water hiding out in Aurelius's basement. Look at that.
So that's a nice pickup. It's going to give him a 50-50 for rage, and he's taking that right now. He's going to route that in. I like that play. I really do. I wonder if he's got flight because he's here, if he's actually going to go over and check Crystalis Plant and Foglamp Cave. No, he wants Sword of Flame today.
Sword of FU right there. No thank you. Sword of Water, except for giving them a new element worth of damage. But that Sword of Water is a non-progressionary item at this point, as far as making checks is concerned. Now, granted, if there's a boss that's vulnerable to it, they're going to need it at some point. But really, for now, that is a non-progression item. Just gives them an extra elemental's worth of damage.
I wouldn't terribly say non-progressional, as it is required to beat the game.
Well, right, at some point. That's like saying the Bow of Sun is a progression item when it's really not until you're completely done with everything. Axe going to make the Nadir check here, and he's actually probably going to go and see if he can kill Kelbesk up the mountain. Not a terrible play, but there's not much else he can do here because every single one of the other chests in here requires the Sword of Fire. And technically this would be an out-of-logic play since Kelbesk would require the bracelet to be logically killable.
So Tornel is going up the mountain here. It looks like he's going to opt to go to Hydra first. Okay, so I like this. He's giving us new things we haven't seen yet, which makes me happy. And I want to know what's on my ledge.
I know what's on your ledge.
Is it a mimic?
It's a mimic.
Yes.
Well,
Kelby's not wind.
That's
Kelby's not
a no.
water. Kelby is
It's
thunder.
thunder.
All right, so this is fine. He's just gonna bury her up. He's gonna do it. Doesn't have the key, so he's only gonna get the one item here. But who knows? Sword of Fire. Maybe this is the Galaxy Brain.
Kelbesk trying over here. Kelbask trying really hard over here.
Yo, I'm so happy we both called my ledge.
And that's a consumable. The out of logic play not paying off. Granted, that was necessary to complete the game, but at this point, nothing special for that. Axe going to check Rage, thinking he's got a 75% chance. We know he's got a 0% chance.
That feels good. Oh, hey, look, Tornel. Why are you chilling out, buddy?
Tornel's favorite enemies there, petrifying enemies, giving him the business, but he did get his thunder shot off, and it did kill both of them, so he was good to go. He has a long history with petrifying enemies.
Specifically mummies. It used to always be mummies. That guy right there. Yeah, those guys. They do work.
Yeah, they put in work when it comes
much
to Tornel. Axe going into Goa at this point. He's going to clear the Oasis cave out, and we're going to get to see Goa's basement at this point.
I think it's a great call. It's the next highest density thing that we've got access to. He does have 3 of the 4 swords, and he's got thunder, so he can get around anywhere he needs to.
Well, not quite anywhere, because he still doesn't have access to Waterfall Cave or Saber North and South, so not quite anywhere, but close to it.
Well, being in Goa Fortress. But we're on Mimic number 6, by the way. We are halfway there.
And here's the other interesting thing. Bow of Truth at the sub... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up here. Bow of Sun spot containing the Bow of Truth. That could be a big difference maker because that is a really out of the way check, and Axe could wait till like the very end for that. So this Hydra play may have actually just caught Tornel up a fair amount.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. He also got the Orb of Water.
Yep, ball of water, always a good thing to find.
Yep.
And there's a ball of
speaking
wind.
Of orb, yeah, so we're... Hey, look at that! Why are you just hanging around, Tornel?
Physics doesn't matter because video games. Get petrified midair, still fly.
There's some logic in there. Don't worry about it.
And that's another consumable! Man, Axe is gonna be running out of consumables here before long. He has found everything.
Alright, so Tornel, being my favorite hero because he checked my ledge, MVP here, making his way into Stixie. He's gonna be, you know, not terribly upset, but not terribly happy with what he finds in here.
Well, it's also worth noting that he didn't go to the pyramid yet, so he does not have that barrier spell.
That is absolutely true. And we get to see Bert again.
Hi, Bert!
Love that guy.
Bert's a bro.
Dude, it's best bro.
Trading in a medical herb for a medical herb. Coming up, gonna have another consumable here. And trading in warp boots for warp boots.
That's so good. I heard you like warp boots.
Yeah. Hey, dog. We added warp boots to your warp boots. Axeman dipping into Goa Fortress here. We might actually have a vanilla Kensu here, so good to see.
Yeah,
what do you want? What do you want, pal?
Onyx.
You wanted the Statue of Onyx, which we do not have yet. However, he gave us a normally lying through his teeth hint that that dude in the basement below him has it. If it turns out to be true, there would have been a first time for everything.
I mean, he's had good items.
I mean, that's a negative right there on the Thunder. It's a wind-weak Carmine. With the barrier spell here and having a fair idea of how Carmine moves, Axe is going to have no problem absolutely obliterating him. No problem. And check this out. Axe re-equipped that Sword of Thunder, not so he could kill enemies, but because in the back of his mind, he's thinking to himself, well, I got a Mado check here, and this is really low scaling. If you're going to fight that guy without a bracelet, you want to do it now, not at 40 scaling.
The bigger question, is he going to check these chests? Yeah, there's the tornado bracelet.
That is absolutely pointing us towards a Mado 2 fight. Ooh, Rabbit Boots. Not a bad find. Gonna give him free charges to level 2.
That'll definitely help during the fight for sure. Another Meta Flirt for healing. This is good. Even worst case scenario right now, 22 scaling, you would still go do the fight. That's what I feel. Battle armor, great find.
Throw that leather armor on the floor. You will never need it again.
Psycho
Ooh.
shield. Okay.
Well, that's going to protect him against the other status ailments that he did not have protection to before, meaning that petrification that Tornel loves so much. Butterfly! We have our first Goa butterfly sighting, and that's actually a vanilla butterfly. This has been quite vanilla in a lot of ways on the monsters. You also notice that butterfly did like half his health, even with the battle armor. Those things are deadly.
Flyers are jerks.
Butterflies are extreme jerks.
They're like jerk to the jerk percent.
There we go. Axe, remembering that he's got those rabbit boots, he's going to just plow his way across this bridge. And of course, our friends the blue slimes are weak to, are immune to thunder this time, which is their vanilla immunity. Tornel, meanwhile, I believe, is making his way to the pyramid right now. And we got a Mado 2 check here. Level 7, 22 scaling, 75% chance we can damage him. But, oh, it's a thunder. Okay, so now you got a hard choice here. If he bodies you and you lose this fight, you can just wait till you have the Storm Bracelet and come back for a free kill at any time. But this is a very doable fight, and he's got plenty of healing and an opal statue, so I would expect, even if he dies, for him to take another shot at this.
Agreed, and honestly, he may even, it may take him a little bit to do it, but he may actually go back out and do a sword charge glitch because he's got that tornado bracelet just to put him up to, he didn't even need it.
Yeah, that would have been overkill. With that low of scaling, Mado does not have a lot of health to begin with. And he is not the most dangerous enemy when it's at low scaling. It's not until he gets to 35 or 40. Hey, there's a bow sun hanging out in Mado 2's there. So each one of our runners with a different piece to the puzzle to get into the crypt at the back of the pyramid.
You know, I just realized it would be hilarious.
Hit me.
Or these sort of fire in the crypt.
I mean, it's very possible. Depends on where that bow and moon is. That's a glowing lamp. That's 50% of that recover spell they don't care about, and they already have the broken statue, so you may as well just use it and get it out of your inventory.
Agreed.
Making a checkpoint just in case a butterfly bodies him. I don't blame him for this.
Well, he's also doing it for the fact of if he gets up there and it's nothing that helps him, he can just reset down and it's faster.
Sure. Well, that's not a great find. Get out of my inventory, Antidote. I don't need you. I'm wearing battle armor. And a mimic. Well, that's a reset.
That's our 7th. This feels good.
Tornel, meanwhile, making his way into the Oasis Cave at this point. He is now hot on Axe's footsteps, or hot on Axe's heels. Well, that's not a thunder check. It is wind. What that tells you is that the Storm Bracelet, which was required for Mado 2, is out there somewhere. Either that or Kelbesk is also weak to wind. It's one of those two.
Either way, this is a great feeling right now.
Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I believe the game is expecting you to have come through the backside. It did put the Tornado Bracelet in Carmine's area, and it would be a roundabout method of routing, but there's a high chance that that Storm Bracelet is already available, probably in the Fog Lamp or Carissa Plant Caves.
I'd
That's
agree with that.
consumable. So 3 items here in Sabera's area. First one in the bottom right corner, second one in the top middle, and the third one all the way in the top left behind a Thunderwall. And that's a Mimic. How many more consumables are there? All of them. That's how many more there are. All of them.
We haven't seen a Fruit of Lime. That question will remain unanswered.
That is the most important consumable, because it's always interesting to see how the runner decides to deal with it. Do they throw it on the ground and jump on it 5 times? Do they teleport it away from them a couple of times? Do they burn it? Do they bomb it? You know, there's plenty of different options, and all of them are acceptable for dealing with the Fruit of Lime, except using it. That's the only option that is unacceptable.
Have you ever given it to Stomp?
You know, I think Cross Product tried to do that one time, and it didn't work. Pretty sure Cross Product tried to do that. It absolutely was acceptable at that time. In fact, I think the play received a win on the day, regardless of how the outcome of the race was, simply due to that play.
Agreed. And I like this setup. He remembered. So, Sword Charge glitch. Gonna check it.
That's a negative on the water. It's a Thunder check. Well, that's a quick... Why not? So I hear you like Thunder, Kelbesk. That means both instances of Kelbesk were weak to lightning this time.
It's gotta be over in...
Yeah, it's available somewhere. Axe, meanwhile, coming up with another classic Mimic there. Gonna go check Mado 1 at this point. I mean, as long as the scaling is low, may as well take out the bosses and then go check out all the peripheral checks.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, here's the thing. You're 40 minutes in and you only have 26 scaling. That's not a great feeling.
No,
because
not at
now
all.
you're wondering, did I just make all the wrong plays? I mean, I had to go through Go of Fortress, but I got damn near nothing for it.
Man, we don't have a Fruit of Lime for Stomp.
You know, he didn't even bother with Stomp. Oh, that's 2 down. And it's a wind weak Mado.
Alright, so we got Ninja Cannonball getting fought, and we've got our friendly neighborhood Carmine also getting fought with the Tornado Bracelet, so... Orb of Water, not what you want.
Okay, so at this point, we've seen every single boss in the game fought, and not one of them was weak to water. That water sword was completely worthless.
Not true. We don't know about Sabera 1.
I thought that Tornel had the Sword of Water when he checked that.
Not at that time, I don't believe. I could be wrong. I don't believe he did.
I know Axe didn't for sure, but No, actually, now that I think about it, you're right. I don't think he did, because he they got it in Amazonas in the basement.
Yep.
So yeah, possible. That would make fire. That would make fire completely worthless.
That would, unless fire is only needed for the Bow of Moon that's on Saber West.
Sword of Water, totally worthless. Absolutely, completely, and totally worthless. And if you're gonna go after Sabera and you're gonna tinker, why did you not do this the first time? So Sabera is weak to fire. That fire sword is out there somewhere. Very high likelihood that it is going to be in the Fog Lamp or Carissa Plant caves at this point, because there's really nothing else we haven't seen.
Unfortunately, Tornel, having that bracelet, never checked there, trying to find bows because he was in boss hunt mode. Not getting a whole lot of benefit out of having that. It's just kind of sitting there in his inventory.
So we should see Tornel taking down Mado 2 here. Sabera 1 with the tank. Gonna be a little bit here for Axe. Sabera gets, because her defense is so high in the base game, it absolutely inflates her HP because of the way that the calculations work on things. But she is low on health at this point. You can tell based on her speed. So she starts off slow, and as her health drops, she gets faster. So that wasn't too bad. So unless the bow is here, Sabera was just kind of a means to an end. And there goes Mado 2 for Tornel. And he's going to be heading his way to check everything. That was a fruit of lime we just saw, was it not?
By means to an end, you mean, oh, you beat all the bosses? Here's your trophy. 10 out of 10. Best seed ever. Confirmed.
Final boss killed, fruit of lime. Here you go, pal. We get to ask Axe about that. Write that down, chat. Axe gonna fill up his inventory with medical herbs. He does have the refresh spell, but why not? He's got plenty of health. Or plenty of money. So, it's important to note here that all bosses are dead. All bosses are dead, and we have no warrior ring, no power ring, and no fire sword. What is this seed? Now, here's the deal. So, it looks like Axe is in complete control this run. However, that Bow of Truth is hiding out on the top of Mount Hydra. And we have no idea how long it's going to take him to go there. Tornel picking up his Bow of Sun there in Mado's area. He's now, you know, he's a little bit behind in terms of bosses, but he is ahead in bows. And, you know, we've seen it before. Alienating a check forever. There's Paralysis, gonna allow them to make the Kensu check there in Swan.
One thing that we know about Axe, he likes to ignore Hydra a bit. And there's the statue of Onyx. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get the other bow. If he doesn't get the Bow of Moon and make the crit play by like 54 minutes, he's gonna do it 100%.
Ooh. You know, I believe Axe is on Team Skip Hydra, but that doesn't mean, you know, that doesn't mean a lot. It just means it could end up being his last play, but he does have still a pretty decent lead here. So depending on where this Bow of Moon is, it may take a while for Tornel to catch up. What we're hoping for is that he finds the Sword of Fire here at the Fog Lamp spot, and then he's going to go and start checking Saber North and Saber West, and it's going to leave that Hydra play till 25 minutes from now. That's what we can hope for.
That would make this a much tighter race, and then Tornel has to not fall for the trap because he has the Bow of Truth.
Right. There are see, at this point, Axe has got a fair number of turn-in items, so even if he does, you know, find his sword here and find that bow, that's a consumable. That means he's going to go to Carissa Plant next, and our Sword of Fire is still at large.
So remember how I just had this discussion?
Oh, looks
he
like
literally had the trigger. He flipped it. The timer was sooner. He flipped it. He's gonna get the bow.
Well, all this is gonna do is slightly, you know, it's gonna get him. It's gonna close his lead, or I should say, it's gonna narrow their differential a little bit because, you know, Tornel has already made that play, and Axe is gonna have to full clear it. So we'll see how it goes. Now, as I recall, that cave was not terrible. It didn't have a lot of nasty enemies in it, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem for him to get through. And he's gonna kill a whole bunch of Medusas here and get some grinding out of the way.
That'll definitely help, especially since he's already level 10, 29 scaling. Wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, he might even go for 12. Just because he's got the good monsters. He might actually do it since he's still on the bow hunt and the sword hunt at this point. May happen.
It's a lot of experience. I mean, he's looking at gaining, you know, about another 12,000 experience, 600 or so at a time. That's a lot, dude. I don't see that happen.
That's
Not
20
at 29
kills.
scaling.
That's 20 kills.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and that's all that is time that Tornel's catching up too. I mean, he's at 48 minutes here at this point, and he's missing 2 bows. I don't know if we're gonna see.
That's 900
tremendous
per.
amount of
I mean,
that.
that's 1 charge for 3. That's pretty good ratio, friend.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
I
like,
still don't
especially
think
with
he's
all
gonna
of
grab.
these, like with all of these, like doing a charge, you get 2 stacked up. Like, look at this, beautiful. 1, 2, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, when they're gonna line up like that, why not?
Oh yeah.
Making good use of that that wind sword here for sure.
For sure. Yep, and he's just showing like he's getting checks in, he's getting the XP. He's making really solid choices right now, and I applaud him for this because this is a great use of movement, managing XP, managing levels. Like, look, there it is, 12. Now, don't touch anything. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Now he's making me a liar, and I don't like that. Like, if he actually goes for the level 13 play, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Axe getting his Blizzard bracelet there, realizing that was a complete waste of an item, and he's trying to grind still.
Okay. He's
And
got
there's
his bow
bow.
now.
Well, let's go find out what's in that Carissa plant cave, because that's the only play he's got left. Saves that check till the very end. Now, actually, he does have another play. He doesn't realize it because he didn't see the flyer.
He does,
He
but he
didn't
also
squire.
knows that's out of logic. He
Well,
might be trying for it again. It looks like he's...
nope,
Nope, okay.
he didn't realize that mosquito was there. So the Tornel on Mount Saber South check with the Blizzard bracelet, they can't get to it. So that doesn't do much for him at this point. But he does have a ton of other checks he can make if the Sword of Fire is not here in the Crease plant game.
What if... Hear me out. This is an extremely rare instance, and it's normally something we've never seen. But I know it happened to Dragon Dark. What if Kensu has the sword? That is also a big option. Kensu could totally have the sword. Axe does find Mimic number 9 for me. We are 3 away from Mimic percent. It makes me so happy. We're getting some more spiders here. Also a great sign.
Tornel going to clear out Sabera really quick. And that'll put him on equal footing with Axe on bosses, except Kelbesk 1.
There's the Storm Bracelet.
That means our Fire Sword is on one of these peripheral checks.
All right, quick. Which one? Yeah, he's taking the bet.
So Tornel probably not going to ping this one. Ooh, well, I stand corrected. He's going to do.
That's another check.
Yep. It sure is. So Axe is going to go pick up his recover spell. Either that or... Oh no, he doesn't know that it's the recover spell because he has not gotten through Rage yet. So he's going to make this play here. He's going to pick up the recover spell that we know is going to get him nothing but an extra point of scale.
Yay, scaling. He's going to check that key to prison.
Yeah, sure is.
So, fun fact, he's gonna put that in there, and he killed the boss, so he can just walk in here and get it. And
No,
eyeglasses is another check.
Yeah, that's all that's left. They've got, because they don't have access to Mount Sabers, so all they're gonna get is you know, one off after one off until they find the rabbit hole that contains the fire source.
Absolutely.
You gotta kind of equip those eyeglasses for them to open that door.
I'm trying to use my vision without the glasses. Just let it work.
Ugh, vision. Nobody likes vision. Oh wait, we're not talking about that guy.
No.
And there it is, on Kensu with another special item. Kensu, you're not allowed to have good stuff there, sir.
Kensu has all the good stuff. I'm telling ya.
Kensu's been an absolute turd in this tournament. He's held on to so many good items. Tornel still fighting Sabera. He's getting close, though. She's moving pretty quick at this point.
So,
Axeman, meanwhile, he's going to clear out Mount Saber South here. But Boa Moon is all he's looking for at this point. As soon as he finds that Boa Moon, he's on his way to the tower. We could have this one wrapped up here in about 10 minutes. What's at the tornado bracelet spot? Oh, I'm sorry. What's in the night dew chest?
Speed boots.
Speed boots. Uh-oh. That's what he was hoping to find.
All right, 54-20.
It's 54 minutes in. I mean, look at this. He just found, during, you know, a rabbit hole of fetch quest, 54 minutes in, finds the speed boots. So he's pretty certain at this point that Tornel doesn't have that. There's a really, really high chance he does not have that. So Axe has got to be feeling pretty good about finding those. However, Tornel does have, you know, there's another Mimic.
Mimic 10!
Tornel has the bracelet of fire already because he made the play to grab it. And Axeman does not. And that's because he was able to go out of logic, you know, there and get both of those off of the Asina and the Dolphin. Axe got to be careful here, man. If one of these flail guys bodies him up against the wall, he could be on the pain train.
Absolutely.
Here's the only thing. Okay, so we got 2 mimics left. There are 2 chests in the crypt. There's a fairly good chance we are not gonna see all 12 mimics at this point. It's just a unfortunate reality of what it is. If there is even a single mimic there, we will not be getting all 12 of them.
Insect flute.
That's a rabbit hole check.
I mean, you're 56 minutes in. Your opponent, you know who you're up against. You haven't seen the dot done.
Yeah. So here's the fun thing. Axeman is going to go check Rage. And if Rage isn't holding the Bow of Moon, he's going to go to Portoa, and he's going to make those 2 checks. That's a warrior ring.
That's helpful. That's definitely helpful.
The question in chat, is there a mandatory fetch quest flag for this seed? No. However, just where the items turned out to be positioned, there were many mandatory fetch quests so far. Just simply based on, you know, what the where the items were placed. There have been a number of them that were necessary. In fact, there's a couple that were there was a chain of fetch quests that led to the Sword of Fire fight.
Speaking of fire,
Axe gonna get his bracelet right here from this dolphin.
Best dolphin friend.
And I'm gonna guess he's gonna warp to Nadare's. Well, he's not sure where he wants to go. He does not want either of those checked. He is happy to leave both those bracelets behind because he doesn't want the extra scaling at this point. I don't blame him. I prefer fire in the tower. Less lag, easy to control when you're practiced with it. You know, the robots have to be, you know, they have to go really stupid in order to struggle with the robots there. I don't fault him for doing it, but at the same time, I know it's my personal preference. I would have kept him.
It's a fair preference.
I'm not of the mindset, like I said, of not keeping items. I mean, it's just time lost, and the scaling normally doesn't matter enough to warrant that kind of a thing.
The slightest edge at this point could tip the scale. So I can respect what Axe did there, especially with that, because he was in, you know, what, 3 rooms in, and he wants to go to Waterfall Cave next. So resetting back out to get him to the front of Portoa, yeah, it's good. You would probably have just teleported back.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I probably would have teleported to Nadare's.
Yep. Well, he's got to go there. I mean, Waterfall Cave did not check out for him.
Axe gonna take the back route, and I mean he's already cleared out the he's already cleared out Kelbask. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. He's right here.
Ooh, look at this. Tornel is going to go and make some plays. Did he grab the Sword of Fire and we missed it?
Highly possible.
No, actually, I think he's just going to try to kill Kelbask and seeing if the Sword of Fire was there. That's what he's doing. Because, he never checked it. That's a Psycho Armor.
That's nice.
Axe with the chain of resets here. We're gonna get to see if this is gonna pay off, or if we're gonna be, you know, digging through every last fetch quest to find this Bow of Moon. At this point, we have Slime Kensu that's left. We have Arillis that's left. There's the love pendant for Arillis. And
So,
I think we...
Vanilla Bow of Moon?
It could be. And Tornel discovering that he's got a consumable there on Kelbask, and he's still looking for that Sword of Fire. Ooh, we're gonna get to find out what Slime Kensu's holding on to. Because Tornel is going to Goa.
Mimic 11!
Ooh. Axeman taking his love pendant there over to Amazonas. Is it vanilla?
It's gotta be, because the Mimic's in the crypts. It's not.
Dio's
Just kidding.
pendant. Tornel making the play here on Kensu. I believe this was part of the chain that's going to lead him to the eyeglasses, right?
That is absolutely correct. So he is
Yep.
key to prison.
That's right. Key to prison. Then the eyeglasses were at that spot, and then you get the Sword of Fire finally from Kensu in. So that's 2 out of the 3 Kensus that were required in the seed. Oh, come on. If he's holding on to the Bow of Moon here, we got a riot. That is a 3 for 3 required Kensu.
Hey, Matt.
What
does he have left?
There's his eyeglasses. Why didn't he just go the back door?
That's the bow.
Oh, okay, that's over. Game's done. Game, set, match.
So Power Ring is in the crypt,
It sure is.
along with my last Mimic. Axe, I'm gonna need you to do me a solid, and I know you like it.
No,
Check the one chest.
not happening.
50-50. Come on, buddy. Do it for me.
Nope.
Do it for me.
It could be at the insect, too.
The Mimic can't be at the insect. The Power Ring
but
could
the
be.
Power
You're
Ring
absolutely right.
can.
The Power Ring could be. Well, then wait. What else is back there?
There's a consumable still.
Are there still 2 fruits of lime in the game?
No.
Okay, that's
There's
not
only
that.
one.
How about the actual flute of lime? We haven't seen that yet.
Here's something interesting. Tornel is about to get his bow. He's going right now to turn this into Kensu. So I think he's got all the bosses done.
Did he do Mado 1? I don't remember.
I think he did.
Okay.
Sure he did. Oh,
unfortunately,
no, he's falling into the trap.
He is falling into the trap.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's got Mado 1 down. He does.
Okay. Then, yeah, he's good then.
So, yeah, this is unfortunate for Tornel. If he had continued on to Kensu, he would be hot on Axe's heels, but he is not. And because of that, he's going to be digging and digging and digging. Now, granted, Axe still does have those speed boots. And he also has that warrior ring that Tornel has not gone to Rage to grab yet. So, Axe does have, you know, a pretty solid advantage at this point. Is he using a... Why are you... He's using water? I know why he's using water. Mm-hmm. He's using water because he reset out of the storm bracelet, I think.
Actually, I think he still has the storm bracelet.
Does he? I thought...
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he just decided not to use it. Okay. Sure. Here's the thing. He's probably barely cutting through his defense at this point. Without the power ring, I'm telling you, he's probably barely cutting through his defense. The thing about it is that the level 1 shots are only adding 1 more damage per hit over stabbing him, whereas the level 3 shots are going to add, in the case of the storm bracelet, they're going to add 6 more over the level 1 shots, and it's going to hit 14 times. So that's far more damage than if you were to warrior ring him. He just has far too much defense for the warrior ring to really be of much use against him.
I know why he's doing it. It's the MP. He only has 2 magic rings after that fruit he just used.
But it doesn't matter because he gets a full MP heal after this. I can understand that for the tower, where he's probably kicking himself for not having picked up those bracelets for fire. But he's... There, he got him. He definitely got him. Actually, all 3 of the fire, water, and wind projectiles are exactly the same at level 1. They're no different. The only one that's different is thunder because it's limited on shots based on the number that are on the screen. Ooh, careful there, Axe. It's gonna take a considerable number of shots to take these guys down still.
I know he went through 1 opal, but does he have a second?
I didn't pay attention, to be honest.
I remember they found 2. I think he only popped the 1 because I think he reset out of the other pop. We'll see right here. He's got 1. He's got 1.
What it's going to take is a helicopter coming in out of nowhere.
Honestly, he's standing still a lot.
He's not wearing the psycho armor. He reset out of it.
I'm kind of surprised he isn't putting it on.
I think he reset out of it.
I'm pretty sure he had it.
Did he?
I thought I saw it on the menu. No, he did nope out of it. You're absolutely right.
He reset out of it.
Ooh!
Careful there, Axe. You don't want to take a stray beam to the face. Those hurt.
There it is.
Yep,
Back of that
and
dome.
The turret popping the opal.
All right.
Now here's the thing. He's going to be stuck. He doesn't have much healing. He doesn't have much MP. He reset out of the flame bracelet. He reset out of Dio's pendant. His options are pretty limited at this point. He's only on the 2nd floor of the tower. And yeah, if things go bad for him here, ooh, we could see a death in the 2nd tier tower.
Tornel, no, my friend.
Don't do it.
You are going so far down the rabbit hole. It's
Yep,
not even
he's
funny.
making-
Well,
He's just making every check that came to him. At this point, he
I can't
can't
blame
leave
him.
anything on the table.
You really can't. And honestly, I can't blame him. It's got higher odds than other things because it is a guaranteed chest. It can't be a mimic. I don't blame him for this at all.
All right, that's one set of robots down.
Insect has the
Snoop Dogg.
fog lamp.
Oh, feels bad, man. That means that the fog lamp is guaranteed to be what the boat owner wanted. No bueno. And Axe is through the tower, putting on his speed boots. He's got 97 MP for Dyna. Put a fork in it. This one's done, folks. And this is going to be about a 110-ish finish. 110, between 109.55 and 110.05. Depending on how Dyna wants to, you know, open its up.
I'm telling you, man. Axe just needs to whisper sweet nothings into Dyna's ears. Get that eye to open up.
Where is Dyna's ear on its heart? Please explain. Where do you whisper? Where's the
there's
mic?
that opening right above the eye there on the right side. That little like black square. That's the ear right there.
All right. Well,
That being said,
Axeman finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 45 seconds. GG to Axe. Moving on to face off with yours truly in the basically the last match before the grand final. So whoever takes this next match between Axe and I, you're waiting for the losers bracket to finish. And then the new Grand Finals flag set where we've basically pulled out all the stops and engaged a whole bunch of hard mode stuff. And it's going to be the highest skill requirements that this tournament has seen yet. So that's going to be exciting. Tornel, meanwhile, found his bow and he is off heading into the crypt at this point. He should be finishing up here probably about 7 or 8 minutes behind Axe. He's got essentially the exact same scaling that Axe did. I think he's actually one higher than Axe entering the crypt here.
that is correct. Yep. And speaking of Axe, welcome into the booth and GG on your first place finish.
Thank you. That had to be close, right?
Tornel just entered the crypt.
Okay. Oh wow. So
let me just paint this picture for you. If you noticed, I don't know if you were watching the SRL channel, but Tornel posted an F in chat early on.
I did see. Yes. I was
Tornel took 3 deaths deep in the vampire cave. He died twice to the vampire. He died once to monsters deep inside of it. And he had to bone out halfway through it at one point and go back through it. I think it took him 6 total tries to get through that vampire.
Wow. I mean, I don't want to be bad, but I was kind of hoping it's the trouble. I mean, I did have a nasty death too, but you know, I was
No,
that was
you
pretty
did.
nasty.
Here's the thing. We have to ask the first and most important question to come out of this seed. How did you like your reward for clearing all the bosses there after Sabera?
That was great. Yeah, just what I wanted.
Yo, you gotta tell me it's on your shelf, right? Like it's the most prized possession you have.
Yeah, it's absolutely on his shelf.
I was also I know that Tornel goes to he goes to Hydra last. He's a never Hydra.
No, actually, he went to Hydra right away. He had the bow of
Really?
truth at the beginning of the time when he got there. So we were saying, if you waited till the very end to make that play, that could have been the thing that controlled the seed for him. But then
Now,
you
did
just
he
was
check
like,
Hydra, or did he check the crypt chest? Because the power ring had to be there, right?
You're right.
The
it's
power ring
there.
was there because he also did the giant insect that you didn't do, and the giant insect was holding on to the fog lamp. which we know the boat owner wanted. So that was completely worthless. Also
interesting.
completely worthless was the Sword of Water. No bosses were weak to it. No bridges were required to be built with it. The only reason it was there was to hold on to it so you could get into Dragon 2. Completely worthless sword the entire season.
So that happens when you get flight like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was only one boss weak to fire, and that was Sabera 1. Only boss weak to fire. Every other boss was weak to wind or thunder.
I do kind of feel bad about taking that many deaths in the windmill cave. That was a rough windmill cave.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I think, you know,
a good one.
in the beginning, I got 2 medical herbs, and then I realized, oh wait, I could have gotten a medical herb and a warp boots, and that might have been better. But no, 2 medical herbs was the right call.
Oh yeah, that wind cave was pretty brutal. The other one that was really interesting was, by the time that you had found the Sword of Fire, Tornel was still clearing bosses in Goa. And so while we were hoping that fire could have been anywhere in the seed, we were actually thinking it might have been in like the fog lamp cave. But no, it was not. It was on the second required Kensu check. So that chain required that you went to Swan and forked over the ivory statue to Kensu there in Swan, who gave you the key to prison that got you the eyeglasses from the paralysis spot that finally netted you the Sword of Fire. And then to top it all off, Kensu in the back of Goa was holding on to the final bow, meaning Kensu was a triple jerk and held on to 3 required items in this seed.
Yes, that was a nice touch.
I don't think we could have asked for a lot better. I mean, honest to God, this is one of the slowest races we've seen with this flag set. In fact, I think this actually was the slowest, because these have all been coming in right around an hour, and for this one to be an hour and 10, it was essentially a full clear requirement. The only thing that wasn't really necessary...
I'm really surprised.
Yeah, the only thing that wasn't really
surprised I broke that.
Yeah, breaking the first one to get a much longer time than an hour, but, you know, since the giant insect was the only thing that wasn't really necessary in this seed, it really had its moment. It didn't mess around. Also would like to point out that the final Mimic was in the crypt, so that meant that we had the 12th Mimic in the crypt and the power ring. Gozen was calling for you to do him a solid and make one of the checks just to see.
I'm so sad. I wanted you to 50-50 it because the one chest isn't too bad, and you're like, oh, the power ring's in here. I'll 50-50 one chest for it. I was really hoping you would do it.
I was definitely thinking of it. And
should have done it!
I don't know. I was kind of like, I never checked crypt. If I'm here, I'm going to do it.
Here's the thing. Tornel never went to Saber. Oh, no. Tornel did go to Saber South.
Yes.
He did. However, at 54 minutes in, you finally find the sword of, the speed boots there that were locked behind that Sword of Fire that was behind that massive chain. You had to have been thinking to yourself, hey, I don't think my opponent has these.
Oh yeah. I was pretty glad to see that, because that meant that they weren't somewhere, easy. So yeah, I was feeling pretty. I was like, assuming that, I hadn't just somehow, if he made all the right plays, maybe, but, you're gonna have some deaths here and there on a seed like this. I think I only did 1 Tink fight on Sabera 1. I went back there with 3 swords, and then I was kind of like, okay, I don't have the sword, but I don't feel like, and I was pretty well equipped, so I just did it.
So Tornel did that too. He not only did he do
that,
but he did like 8 higher scaling than you. I was actually surprised. If you were going to Tink Sabera, you should have done it your first time through. It would have been a lot less painful.
That is absolutely true. And Tornel's finishing up now with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 37 seconds. And before I can even finish my sentence, Tornel, welcome to the booth, and GG.
GG's.
So
GG's.
we're gonna ask you the same question we asked Axe. How'd you like your reward for killing all the bosses there at the end after Sabera?
I don't know. Wasn't what I wanted.
You sure you didn't put it up on your mantle there? Just nice fruit of lime.
Nah, I threw it on the ground.
Yeah, everybody throws it on the ground. But yeah, that was the reward. So that was actually the last boss that Axe killed. I know it wasn't your true final boss that you killed. That was Tornel, but that was Kelbesk up on Saber North. But that was Axe's last boss. So he kills Sabera 1 and then goes and makes the check and comes up with a fruit of lime on Clark. And yeah, we got a good laugh out of that. It was a great prize for finishing that one out. So 3 for 3. Kensu required. Good stuff. There was that race could have gone either way simply based on that bow of truth. And Axe was thinking that you were going to make that play at the very end and decided to dip it early, not knowing that you made that play right off the bat when you went to Hydra.
I was hoping Axe wouldn't do it because last race he did and it didn't pan out. So I was hoping he wouldn't do it.
Well, it did pan out this time. It was a vanilla bow up there. It wasn't the sun bow, but it was a bow. I gotta say, I think the thing that really lost this one for you, it was pretty well over. Axe never looked back after that vampire cave, and it took you probably 14 minutes to get through it.
It wasn't quite that long, but it was like 9 or something when I finished it, I'm pretty sure.
I think it took you 6 total tries to get through it. It was rough. I mean, that was a tough cave. Now, Axe started off by buying a pair of medical herbs, and you bought warp boots, and I don't think you bought any herbs, so you had to duck out there halfway through it at one point and then go pick up some herbs and come back to finish it.
Well, even after I ducked out, I couldn't afford any herbs, so I still went back in. No extra herbs.
Yeah, you also died twice to the vampire, and I think twice to enemies, plus you had to reset twice due to poison.
I just, my stabbing was not working out for me today at the beginning, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was a
Definitely
rough start.
Disappointing start, to say the least.
And here's the thing, if you actually look at the split between the two of you guys, that vampire cave was a lot. That was a
Oh yeah, that was the majority.
Most of it.
Sure.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate start there. But that's what happens when you get in some of these situations where these rough caves are. And as the flags get more difficult and they're relying on the player, to handle situations with lesser equipment like that, it definitely can make some of these nasty early caves really put you in for, tough plays. So, Axe, you and me.
That's right.
This is a rematch. I mean, you got me last time, but
I got kind of lucky too. I mean, you realize my strategy is going to be just, play it cool and let you self-destruct.
I mean, it worked for me.
That's one of those things where, if you press, I think the thing that when we started noticing, when you guys first saw all those robots there at the back of the vampire cave, and they all kind of jumped out, and both of you, it seemed like, went into slight panic mode, like, oh my god, there's robots here, help. And it was pretty interesting because Tornel, when that first robot came out, popped out in front of him and shot him right in the face before he even really had a chance to think. Bam, got him. So it was you gotta be ready. I do think the interesting thing here is that, watching the both of you in these last couple of races here, there is an interesting mixture of just going for it and pulling away. You know, some bosses, you know, you're just going to go for early. The early Mado 2s, you know, there were definite good plays. But at the same time, didn't really reward much other than, you know, finding the bow there. Goa didn't have a lot. So while it was available early and you guys were able to full clear it, it could have gone way faster had you done Fog Lamp first and got that Storm Bracelet from Carissa Valley. Or the meadow there.
Yeah, helped on Kelbesk.
Yeah. Here's another thing that was interesting. So Axe tried to get a flyer to bop him past Rage at the beginning. And for whatever reason, there was a mosquito in that area that did not spawn on his side and did spawn for Tornel. So Tornel actually had his flame bracelet pretty much right after he got flight.
Oh man. Yeah, it would have made much. That fire, it's not much good without the sword.
No, it wasn't, but it was interesting because he also received the hint that Recover was there on the ocean, so he knew he never had to go make that check, which was something that, because you didn't have the hint yet, you had to go out of your way to find while you were trying to find that Sword of Fire. So it was, you know, an extra 30, 40 seconds out of your way. You know, that had you also, you know, gotten that early play, you could have skipped that. And frankly, in the tower, because you didn't have that Sword of Fire, you were kind of up against the wall there. You only had one opal statue. You didn't have any healing. And you only had 2 magic rings. So you were, no, I noticed you were being real sparing there when it came to using your tools going up that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might have helped, but I guess I decided I would risk that I would find the power ring and then I'd be set with Lagstorm, and it didn't happen. So I may do with you know, Thunder.
Well, it worked out, and you got the victory here tonight. And then moving on, Tornel, you get to go and play with Dragon. Have fun.
I mean, I beat him once. Can I do it again?
That's right. You know, these next matchups are both rematches from the Swiss rounds, and who won them?
So here's the interesting thing: the Swiss rounds were a completely different style of flag set, and when I originally designed them, I designed them to be friendlier, you know, because they weren't forcing combat. They were, you know, kind of just bow and go. And so that introduced a very high level of luck into that flag set and made it much more accessible. At this point in the tournament, there's a fair amount of luck that has been pulled out of it because about 70% of the game is going to be required on average, normally. And so it's going to come down, a lot of it will come down to your combat skill. You know, taking deaths really can set you back in bad places. You know, how confident are you taking down bosses without the right tools? How much out of logic stuff are you willing to gamble on? There's a lot more at play in these flags than there were in the early ones when all the glitches were off and it was just, you know, run through the game and hope that you find the items that you're looking for. So it's a very different style.
You know what this means? My my first 3 opponents here are the same first 3 opponents in the same order that I had in the Swiss rounds.
So let's think about this for a minute.
I still
That would
haven't
have
been
been
Metric at all.
No, well, you might see me in the grand finals.
I gotta be honest here, I'm pulling for Axe.
Oh, why? You just want to see me sooner?
I think that was a yes.
It was. I think he's got confidence against me. I'm
Well,
scared.
actually, I guess it doesn't matter. I just want to play Axe again, so if he loses, that works too.
That's true. Yeah, you know, either way, there's a few ways that can happen.
Right. I mean, if you plow past Dragon Dark and Axe loses to me, you guys get a rematch. Well, actually, somebody Cross Product and KFL are still in there as well. What does the bracket look like at this point? I'm drawing a blank.
So the losers bracket is yeah, KFL Cross Product, and then and now it's Tornel Dragon Dark, and then the winners bracket is 2 of us.
Yeah, so the winner of the Cross Product KFL will face off with the winner of Dragon Dark Tornel, and then those two will face, and they will face off with the loser of our match. So there are still 3 weeks worth of loser matches and 1 more week of winner matches before the grand finals. And then here's the interesting thing. So since this is a double elimination tournament, and this is technically a best of 3, the grand finals, the guy coming from losers bracket's got to win twice.
Yep.
That's a interesting. It's gonna be an interesting round. We'll see how it. I'm looking forward to it. Gozen, got anything you want to add at this point, or you want to take us out?
You guys, every time I see you two race each other, it's always a phenomenal race, and I'm very glad to see another great performance tonight. You guys have any final thoughts for it?
Oh, thanks for that seed, and I want to wish Tornel best of luck against Dragon Dark. And I'll be waiting for his challenge in the finals.
I'll do my best.
On that note, I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to SpeedGaming, as always, for allowing us to be on their wonderful network. Big shout outs to our runners, the Axeman and Tornel. Please give them a follow if you love their content that they put on today for you. For my co-commentator, Matrick, and myself, thank you guys for coming out tonight, and we hope to see you next time. Take care.